You know, usually when we talk about medical diagnosis, there's this expectation of precision.
Right, like it's a math problem.
Exactly. It's treated almost like engineering. I mean, you break your arm, the doctor throws you in an imaging machine, and the X-ray shows that, that jagged white line across the radius or the ulna.
Yeah, and the doctor just points at the screen and says, well, there it is. There is the problem.
Right. And it's comforting because it's binary, like the bone is broken or the bone is intact.
The tumor is there or it isn't. Human beings really, really crave that kind of visible, categorical certainty.
We totally do. We want to be able to point a finger at the exact source of our pain.
But then, you step into the world of severe compounding trauma.
Oh, man. Yeah. Physical trauma just layered right over psychological trauma.
Exactly. And suddenly that metaphorical X-ray machine is it's completely useless.
It really is. You're looking at a diagnostic landscape that is incredibly murky. I mean, the lines between a medical necessity and a destructive addiction, they don't just blur.
No, they completely vanish.
They vanish. So today, we are stepping into the mind of a man who just woke up to a world that, well, it doesn't fit him anymore.
It's a really heavy deep dive today.
It is. We are examining a single devastating day in the life of Jason Matherson. He's a combat veteran who recently emerged from a 2-year coma.
2 whole years?
Right. Only to realize that waking up might have been, the worst thing that could have happened to him.
It is the absolute definition of diagnostic muddy waters.
For sure.
Because the transition Jason is attempting is fraught on every conceivable level. I mean, to really grasp the stakes of what we're looking at today, we have to vividly establish his current daily reality.
Yeah, let's set that stage for everyone listening.
Because he hasn't just gone home from the hospital. He is physically and psychologically regressed.
Right, he's back in his childhood home.
Yeah, but specifically, he is inhabiting his absent father's old bedroom.
And I want to pause right there because the physical state he is in, it requires some serious translation.
It really does.
He's dealing with these massive memory gaps regarding his combat experience and, whatever accident actually put him in that coma for 24 months.
Right. His brain is just full of holes right now.
But the physical reality is that he has monoplegia in his left arm. And the text describes it as a dead arm. So what is actually happening neurologically there? Because, it's not just a broken bone.
Oh, far from it. So monoplegia means paralysis restricted to a single limb.
Okay.
But it's crucial to understand that the arm itself, like the muscles, the bones, the local nerves, they might be completely structurally intact.
Wait, really? So the arm is fine?
Physically, locally, yes.
Yeah.
The damage is almost certainly in the motor cortex of the brain or, along the efferent nerve pathways leading down the spinal cord.
Ah, I see.
So Jason's brain is sending the electrical signal to move his fingers or to lift his wrist, but that signal encounters a roadblock and just dies before it reaches the destination.
Wow. So the arm is just dead weight.
Exactly. It basically becomes a foreign object attached to his own shoulder.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. It requires immense physical effort just to balance your body when one side is dragging, like an extra 15 pounds of unresponsive tissue.
Right. Just walking around would be a chore.
And to make matters infinitely more complicated, this dead arm has a PICC line installed in it.
A peripherally inserted central catheter.
Yes. And for those who aren't familiar, a PICC line isn't like a standard IV you get in the back of your hand for fluids.
Right. It's much more serious.
It is a long, flexible tube that is threaded into a vein in the arm and pushed all the way through the vascular system.
Oh, all the way through.
Yeah, until the tip rests in the superior vena cava,
Yeah.
which is the large vein situated right above the heart.
Wow.
So it is a direct, unobstructed superhighway to the central cardiovascular system.
So it bypasses a lot of the body's normal filtering.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Whatever you push into a PICC line hits the heart and gets pumped directly to the brain in a matter of seconds.
And what is going into that direct superhighway to his heart is a drug called barbicaine.
Right. Bioke?
Now, Our sources describe this as a prescribed medication, initially used to keep his mind active enough to pull him out of the coma.
That was the initial medical justification, yes.
But I'm looking at the side effects, and calling this a medication feels like calling a hurricane a breeze.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a highly addictive chemical cocktail.
And it's administered via injection directly into that PICC line we just talked about.
Right into the heart. And while it might have had a neurostimulant purpose during his coma, in his waking life, it induces incredibly heavy hallucinations.
It sounds terrifying.
It basically drops him into a pseudocoma state. It's this twilight zone where the barrier between waking reality and the dream world is just completely dismantled.
Okay, so imagine for a second that you're waking up in a body that refuses to obey your commands. You are dragging around a dead limb.
Yeah, a heavy dead limb.
You have a plastic tube running directly to your heart. You are living in the oppressive, stale room of the father who abandoned you.
Under the constant hovering care of your mother, Gloria.
Right, the suffocating care. And you are entirely reliant on a mind-altering chemical just to tolerate, like, a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, that is the baseline.
That is the starting line for the day we are about to explore.
It's a staggering burden to carry before you even attempt to open the front door.
It really is.
Which is why, before Jason even tries to face the outside world, we have to look at what is happening inside his own mind.
Right, the internal landscape.
Exactly.
Chapter 2. Leave no stone unturned. Jason woke from a sudden and frightening nightmare, merely seconds from start to finish, but vivid enough to make him scream out into the night. He dreamed of falling from perhaps 1,000 feet toward the lush green hills and trees of a place he didn't know. In his sleep, he reached up, trying to grab hold of anything, but finding nothing but thin air. Although his back was to the earth, he could see behind his back by turning his head. He saw approaching trees. Seconds passed like hours. Luckily, he never hit the ground. In a cold sweat, he lunged at the nightstand. Already his mother's footfalls pounded in her bedroom overhead, and her door opened with a loud squeak. She made it all the way down the stairs before Jason could get the vial right side up. She reached for the door handle quickly, waited, and then opened it slowly. Jason looked up from his task, expecting his mother to run in and stop him. When she didn't move, he pressed the barbican into his arm and let the heavy dose take him. Gloria laid Jason back on the bed and picked up the discarded syringe without saying a word. After he was through his initial giggles and smiles, seeing the room smile back, he knew he was going to be all right, and closed his eyes to sleep. Gloria returned the vial to the box in the nightstand and pushed the drawer closed before she walked out. Jason felt his father in the room, beside the bed, and they laughed. Part 2. Gloria Matherson was off again to see her friends downtown this Tuesday morning. She wasn't there to see Jason take his first step out into the real world. Out the door, down the path, and out the gate. She would have been proud and frightened for him. She would have cried out if she saw him walk straight across the street without looking. She would have pulled him back inside. Jason slipped a map of Denver into the breast pocket of his desert camouflage shirt and moved his way up the street. They were familiar to him, even though some of the houses were doubled in size, either upward or outward. There was a faint smell of pine in the air, fresh air, so different from the stale smell of his father's room. Before he left the house, he opened the window in that room to air it out, but also to let him back in when he returned from his walk. He was determined to be back before his mother. The sight was interesting, if anything. A big man, almost staggering, dressed like he was ready for combat, holding a map, walking up to a shopping mall. He stopped before a huge department store at the north end of the long mall. He looked at the map, at the building, at the map. "Excuse me," he interrupted a man's phone conversation. The man's frozen face turned to Jason without uttering a word. "Where is this on the map?" The man fingered an intersection and walked off. Jason turned the map around and around, but the streets never seemed to line up. The mall, he thought, would be a good start. He went in with a smile on his unkempt, somewhat threatening face, and $30 blood-stained dollars in his pocket. "Can I help you?" a little salesman asked as Jason went through a rack of shirts. Jason was gawping at the prices. "No, thank you though." The mall was spacious, with store windows on either side displaying overpriced merchandise. People didn't look at him like he expected, but they did look. Without Jason noticing, all eyes were on him as he walked from one store window to the next. People cleared a path for him. By the time he left the mall, his head was throbbing from frustration. 2 security guards had followed him all the way out and waited for him to leave before returning to their business. The streets made more sense as Jason walked around. He turned up Porter Street, where a bank sign flashed the time in digital black and amber. It was past noon, so he crossed the street to where a supermarket stood. Out front, a man solicited pamphlets to all the passing shoppers, stuffing them into hands and shopping carts, giving them out to children. The haggard man of about 50 years was dressed in camouflage army pants and a white t-shirt. The message on his shirt read, "Buddy, can you spare a bullet?" "For me. Shoot me in the head. Suicide, you know, is the only way out." He eyed Jason's clothing, assessed his weathered face and dog tags, and then asked, "Authentic? You're in the service?" "Baghdad for the last 2 years, but I'm no longer active. I've been injured." "Tough." The man shook his head in pity. He took Jason's hand and shook it before Jason could blink an eye. The man turned and tossed the pamphlets onto a folding table, but saved one for Jason, who took it graciously. "Calling all vets. 2009 Annual Veterans Day reunion is here. Picnic, entertainment for everyone. Live bands, Nancy Sinatra, Barbara Mandrell, and more. Late night fireworks and evening toasts, and remembrance ceremony. Free ice cream for kids." The man said, "This ought to interest you. It's this weekend." He was reading over Jason's shoulder, who was trying to figure out where the South Street Park actually was. "Being a vet and all." Jason looked at the man. "My CO is from Denver. Do you know a Lieutenant Halverston?" The man thought for a moment and then said, "Oh, I've never been in the Army, son. I'm just trying to get mine before I get too old to work it. Can you imagine how many people would bother stopping to talk to me if they thought I—" Jason pulled back. "Was homeless?" "You're homeless?" "Nah, that's just how I get jobs like this. The tips are nice, too." He pulled a small bankroll from his front pocket and fingered through some 5s and 10s. Jason backed away, disgusted. He didn't say another word as he entered the store. Even after going inside the store, Jason kept quiet. But once out front again, Jason's mouth spat random curses that scared some of the patrons. The man returned to his task, assuming Jason was just one of those people. There were clothing stores on Porter, but they too presented Jason with high prices. He even stuck his knuckles on a store window featuring a 10% discount on all items over $100. The store clerk stayed behind the counter, hoping the man wouldn't come in. Jason became more agitated as he rounded the next corner. A man walking toward Jason gave him a wide berth, and Jason shook his bag from the market so violently that the can of shaving foam toppled out. The man stepped quickly and got out of the way of the flying can. Jason refilled his bag and decided to head back home. The world just wasn't ready for him yet. Jason re-entered his mother's house through the front window and went into the kitchen to eat. The refrigerator presented food not ready to eat. Everything had some prep time, and the aggravation welled in him again. He gave the refrigerator door a good slam, and the bottles in the door tumbled down inside. He dug around the cabinets for crackers and snacks and found nothing worth taking. He figured there was only one thing to satisfy his hunger. Hey, it was time for a shot anyway. The injection felt good and warm. He watched TV until the image became clear and the news broadcasters started to laugh. Jason felt his father there, standing behind his recliner, looking down at his smirking son. Jason reached up his right arm to give his father a high five and bellowed out laughter when he thought his father missed. They laughed together until 2, when his mother came home. Jason was sitting in his father's chair, dressed in fatigues, the left sleeve pushed up showing the PIC line in his dead arm. In his right hand was a pamphlet. 7 more days, he declared as his mother put her purse down. 7 more days. Until what? She noticed he slurred. 7 more days until I find Marley and laugh with him. Part 3. It was a very long week. The first day, Jason went to his mother and asked for the rest of his things. More specifically, his sidearm. She frowned. The doctors took it when you reached Germany. When they called, they told me you wouldn't likely get it back. What do you mean, never get it back? To them, you were beyond help. I was in a goddamn coma, for Christ's sake. She looked away, hiding a little lie that started to appear in her gray eyes. I have it. Don't be angry with me. There's nothing you can do now. They even have you on some list that keeps you from buying a gun. There's nothing you can do with a gun here anyway. There is. He snapped and rushed for the front door, where he stopped. He turned to the telephone table and went for the phone book. Gloria watched him with curiosity and worry. He thumbed through it quickly. His hands trembled with anger. Hunger. Gloria instinctively went into the bedroom and pulled a wooden box out of the nightstand. Jason read to himself. Guns and gunsmiths. There were 10 in the immediate area. Only one ad showed a map, and he tried to memorize the streets, but failed. Buy, sell, rent, firearms training, complete indoor target range. 200 East Baker Street. 200 East Baker. 200. If his mother was going to do what he thought she was, then he wouldn't be able to memorize the streets anyway. So he snatched a page out of the book and shoved it into the brochure. Both were folded and pushed into his breast pocket. Gloria emerged from the bedroom with a full syringe in her hand. Jason asked, "Where's Baker Street?"
And the sequence we are looking at begins in the dead of night with a dream.
And it's not just a vague, hazy dream either. The text provides this visceral, terrifying sequence of falling.
The falling dream, yes.
Jason is plummeting from the sky, and below him are these lush, vibrant green hills and trees, but he's falling backward.
The sensory details are incredibly striking here, and they're medically significant for a trauma survivor.
So,
Well, his back is to the earth, but he can turn his head just enough to see the trees rushing up to meet him. Think about the physics and the psychology of terminal velocity. When you are falling at 120 miles an hour, the human brain cannot process the inevitable impact. It resorts to sheer panic.
That makes sense.
He experiences this intense feeling of reaching his right arm up, like desperately grasping at nothing but thin air.
But the contrast there is what really trips me up.
What do you mean?
Well, in his mind, in this night terror, he is surrounded by this vibrant, open, airy, green landscape. It's expansive, right?
Yeah, totally wide open.
But the physical reality, the actual waking reality, is that he is trapped. He's lying flat on his back in the claustrophobic, dark, stale environment of his absent father's bedroom.
It's a huge juxtaposition.
So why is his brain generating an expansive landscape for a nightmare?
Because the core terror of the dream isn't the landscape itself,
Mm.
It's the profound loss of control.
Ah, I see.
In PTSD patients, nightmares rarely just replay the traumatic event like a movie. They often replay the emotional state of the trauma.
That is such an important distinction.
Right. So Jason has no control over his life, his body, or his memory right now. And the falling dream is the perfect manifestation of that feeling.
He is plummeting toward a reality he cannot stop.
Exactly. And he's totally unable to brace himself because half of his body won't respond. The vastness of the green hills just emphasizes how small and helpless he is in the middle of this descent.
Wow. Okay, so he hits the psychological ground in the dream, and he wakes up in the real world in an absolute cold sweat.
Heart-pounding, total panic.
But his reaction is what I find so deeply disturbing. I mean, he doesn't call out for his mother.
No.
He doesn't try to ground himself by, turning on a light or something. He lunges straight for the nightstand.
It's an instant frantic race to the Barbicane.
Yeah.
The terror is so acute that his brain just demands immediate chemical intervention.
Yeah.
But the text builds this incredible tension in the room.
It really does. It's like a thriller in that moment.
Because as he is fumbling in the dark, and remember, he only has one working hand to manage a vial and a syringe, he hears his mother, Gloria, moving overhead.
He hears her heavy footfalls pounding on the floorboards.
Yeah, getting closer.
He hears the loud squeak of her bedroom door opening. It literally becomes a race against his own caregiver.
Can he draw the dose and inject it before she catches him?
And he barely manages it. I mean, he presses the syringe into his arm right into that PICC line at the exact moment she opens his bedroom door.
And Gloria's reaction to catching him is, honestly, one of the most psychologically dense moments in this entire day.
Right, because she doesn't react. Or, well, she doesn't react the way you would expect a mother to react to finding her son shooting up in the dark.
Precisely. She catches him in the act of injecting a highly addictive, hallucination-inducing drug.
A normal maternal response might involve yelling, crying, snatching the needle away.
Or threatening to call a doctor, right. But Gloria does none of that.
No, she doesn't.
She walks over in complete silence. She gently lays his body back down onto the bed.
It's almost eerie.
It is. She takes the discarded, empty syringe right from his hand. She puts the vial of Barbicane away, and she silently closes the nightstand drawer.
I really struggle with Gloria here, I have to be honest.
Oh, so?
Well, is she just an enabler? Is she complicit in his destruction? Because on paper, silently putting away your child's drug paraphernalia is textbook enabling.
It is enabling, objectively speaking, yes. But I think we have to look at the sociology of caregiver burnout here.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Well, Gloria spent 2 years watching her son exist as a vegetable in a hospital bed.
That's true. 2 years of just sitting there.
She is terrified of losing him again to that void. And caregiver burnout operates a lot like triage on a sinking ship.
Triage on a sinking ship, that's a powerful image.
You stop trying to fix everything, and you just start trying to manage the most immediate catastrophe.
So in Gloria's mind.
In her mind, if the Barbicane is the only thing keeping him conscious or keeping him from screaming in terror every night, she will tolerate the addiction. Her silence isn't malicious. It is a tragic form of complicity born entirely out of a mother's sheer exhaustion and absolute terror of the alternative.
It's like trying to put out a grease fire with water.
Oh, that's exactly it.
You know, you're making the overall situation worse, but in the panic of the moment, you're just doing whatever you think will lower the flames.
That is an excellent way to conceptualize it.
And the drug works fast. I mean, that direct line to the heart means the Barbicane hits his brain almost instantly.
In seconds.
The sheer terror of the falling dream just dissolves. The text says it turns into giggles.
Yeah, he starts laughing.
He actually sees the physical room-like, the walls, the ceiling smile back at him, silently assuring him that everything is going to be all right.
The pharmacological shift there is whiplash-inducing.
Seriously.
I mean, to go from the terminal terror of a plunging nightmare to childlike giggling in a matter of seconds.
What does that to a brain?
It requires a drug that completely suppresses the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for logic and threat assessment, while hyperactivating the emotion and memory centers.
But the medical justification for this is so warped.
Yeah.
It's prescribed to him, sure, but it's acting as this twisted chemical security blanket.
A security blanket. I like that.
Well, think about what a security blanket is actually for. It's meant to shield a child from the monsters in the dark. It creates a safe boundary, right?
Right.
But Barbicane does the exact opposite. It dissolves the boundary. It literally invites ghosts into the room to keep him company.
That is a fascinating psychological mechanism to highlight, because the immediate culmination of this hallucination isn't just a smiling room.
No, it gets much more specific.
He feels the distinct, undeniable presence of his absent father standing right beside the bed.
The father who abandoned them.
Yeah.
The father whose stale room he's currently trapped in. But in this drug-induced state, there is no resentment.
None at all.
There is no anger. They just laugh together in the dark before Jason finally falls into a deep sleep.
The drug is basically manufacturing the comfort and the deep human connection that Jason is entirely lacking in his waking life.
It's filling the void.
Exactly. The Barbicane is hijacking his brain's attachment centers. It provides the warmth of a father's presence without the messy, painful reality of the father's actual abandonment.
And this manufactured drug-induced safety net is exactly what Jason relies on to survive the night.
Which is incredibly dangerous.
Right, because it creates a horrifying vulnerability. If his baseline for safety requires inviting hallucinations into his bedroom...
What happens when he has to leave the bedroom?
Exactly. What happens when he tries to leave that chemical safety net and face the harsh daylight of the real world?
Which brings us to the morning. Tuesday morning. The Great Escape.
So Gloria leaves the house to head downtown to play cards with her friends.
A very normal suburban activity.
Yeah, but this is a massive shift for them. It's the first time she's left him alone since he came home.
The dramatic irony in the text here is just palpable. Gloria is heading out, thinking she is leaving him safely tucked away, resting in his bed.
Little does she know.
Right. The text specifically notes that she would have been terrified to see him actually step outside his room, let alone watch him attempt to walk across the street without looking for traffic.
Oh, if she knew what he was planning, she wouldn't have gone to play cards.
Never.
She would have physically barricaded the door.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
But Jason has an objective. He is determined to leave the house, and it is crucial to observe how he prepares to leave.
Let's talk about that.
Because his actions are not those of a civilian going for a morning stroll. They are deeply rooted in combat instincts and tactical maneuvering.
Let's look at the infiltration route first.
Good call.
He leaves the bedroom window open. Now, ostensibly, he tells himself this is to air out the stale smell of his father's room.
Right. That's the excuse.
But practically, tactically, he is establishing his way back in.
He knows he has to beat his mother home.
And an open window bypasses the front door entirely. He doesn't have to fumble with keys with his one good hand.
He is securing his exfiltration point before he even steps into the field.
And then there is the outfit. I mean, he doesn't put on sweatpants or a t-shirt.
No.
He dresses himself in a desert camouflage combat shirt.
Right.
He is going out into a civilian suburb in Denver, and he is putting on a military uniform.
He is armoring himself.
Yeah, armor.
When the brain has undergone severe trauma in a specific environment, in this case a literal war zone, it often defaults to the survival mechanisms of that environment when faced with new stress.
That makes total sense.
He feels vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dragging a dead arm. He's suffering from memory loss. The camouflage shirt isn't just clothing for him.
It's a psychological shield.
Exactly. It is a signifier to himself and to the world of what he has survived.
He puts a map of Denver in his breast pocket like he's going on a foot patrol.
Navigating hostile territory.
And he carries exactly $30, but the text specifically notes in a very grim detail that it is blood-stained money.
Blood-stained dollars.
Yeah.
Which serves as a constant physical tether to the violence he just escaped.
He literally can't wash his hands of it.
He cannot leave the war behind. He is carrying it in his pocket. And the sensory shift the moment he finally steps out that window is incredibly sharp.
Oh, yeah.
The text moves us from the stale, oppressive, medication-heavy scent of his father's bedroom to the faint, fresh smell of pine in the outside morning air.
Pine trees, fresh air, it should be refreshing.
It should be.
But he doesn't fit into this fresh pine-scented environment at all. I want you to picture this visual for a second.
Hate the picture.
Okay, you have this Very large, staggering man. He is dragging a paralyzed arm that has a medical tube protruding from
The
it.
PICC line, yeah.
He is dressed for desert combat. He is clutching a map. And he is just trying to navigate a normal suburban shopping district.
He's an absolute alien in this landscape.
Total alien.
He has crossed a threshold from the isolation of his bedroom into the vast, complex ecosystem of civilian society. And his very first interaction confirms his alien status.
It really does. He stops a man on the street to ask for directions.
Such a basic thing.
It's a completely mundane request. The man is talking on a cell phone. Jason holds out his map and asks for a bearing, and the civilian's reaction is just brutal.
The man's face completely freezes.
Just dead stop.
He takes one look at Jason's weathered face, the dead arm, the camouflage, and he experiences a visceral reaction.
He doesn't say anything.
Not a single syllable. He just points a stiff finger at an intersection on the map and then immediately walks away.
So why does he freeze like that? Is it fear?
It's a combination of fear and cognitive dissonance, actually.
How so?
Sociologists refer to this as a disruption of the just world hypothesis.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, people want to believe the world is safe and orderly. When they're suddenly confronted with undeniable evidence of severe trauma and violence, especially walking down their own peaceful street, it shatters that illusion.
It bursts the bubble.
Exactly. The civilian doesn't know how to categorize Jason.
Right, because he's not normal.
He isn't a neat, tidy charity case, and he isn't a conventional threat either. He is an anomaly. And the human instinct when faced with a complex anomaly is just avoidance.
So the civilian gives him the ultimate brush off.
Yep.
And that silent rejection really sets the tone for everything that follows.
It does.
Because seeking some sort of recognizable structure or maybe just a destination, Jason heads into the local shopping mall.
And the mall is the perfect sociological setting for this phase of the day.
It really is.
It is spacious, it is artificially bright, and it is packed with store windows displaying massive amounts of merchandise.
Capitalism at its finest.
Right.
So Jason walks in holding his 30 bloodstained dollars, and he is just gawking at the prices. Everything is massively overpriced.
It's completely foreign to him.
A quote-unquote little salesman approaches him as he's looking at some shirts, offering help, but Jason declines. The interactions are entirely transactional, but it's the macro reaction of the crowd in the mall that I find so unsettling.
It is a profound demonstration of social ostracization.
Yeah, ostracization.
Jason is walking through the wide corridors of the mall, and he's expecting people to look at him a certain way. Perhaps he expects respect for his service, or maybe just normal, fleeting curiosity.
But instead, they watch him with this silent, intense surveillance.
Like he's a zoo animal.
The text points out that, without Jason even really noticing it at first, all eyes in the concourse are completely fixed on him.
But they absolutely refuse to engage.
Right.
They simply clear a path. They part like the Red Sea to let this staggering, camouflage-clad man pass through, ensuring they maintain a physical buffer zone.
Nobody wants to get too close.
No one smiles, no one nods, they just monitor him.
And to escalate the hostility of the environment, he is shadowed by 2 security guards for his entire walk through the mall.
Just following him.
Yeah, they follow him at a distance all the way to the exit doors, waiting silently for him to leave their jurisdiction before returning to their posts.
It is deeply uncomfortable to read.
It is, because it forces you to think about your own perspective. Like,
Right.
Why is society's default reaction to visible, messy trauma often to just silently step out of the way?
It's easier to ignore it.
Right. We shadow it with security, we stare at it from a distance, but we refuse to actually engage or speak or offer basic human help.
We self-segregate from pain that we don't understand and cannot easily fix.
That's a great point.
And the mall represents the ultimate mundane capitalist reality of America. It is pristine, it is driven by consumption, and its primary goal is comfort.
Comfort above all else.
Exactly. It is fundamentally completely incompatible with a man carrying blood-stained currency and the fresh physical scars of a war zone.
He doesn't belong there.
Jason's mere presence in that space is an affront to the illusion of the mall.
And the result of all this silent surveillance on Jason is entirely physical. I mean, by the time he exits those mall doors, his head is absolutely throbbing.
The stress is getting to him.
His frustration is manifesting as physical pain. The silent ostracization is literally hurting him.
So, feeling completely alienated by the sterile environment of the mall, Jason seeks out a more direct, grounded connection out on the streets.
He just wants someone to talk to.
He is desperate for something authentic. And this desperation leads him to a truly disturbing, almost grotesque encounter.
Yeah, let's talk about the scene on Porter Street.
This part is wild.
So Jason crosses the road, walking past a bank sign that flashes the time. It's past noon now, so he's been out for a bit, and he heads toward a supermarket.
Okay.
Out front of the store, he spots a man who is aggressively handing out pamphlets to people passing by.
And the visual description of this man is crucial. He is described as haggard, about 50 years old. He is wearing camouflage army pants and a plain white t-shirt.
But it's the message handwritten in marker on that t-shirt that completely stops you in your tracks.
It's so jarring.
The shirt reads, and I quote, "Buddy, can you spare a bullet for me? Shoot me in the head. Suicide, is the only way out."
It is a staggering, highly provocative display.
I mean, who wears that on a shirt?
Right. And the man watches Jason approach. He assesses him. He looks at Jason's weathered face. He spots the metal dog tags hanging from his neck. He sees the desert camo shirt and the dead arm.
He sizes him up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the man asks Jason, point blank, authentic, you in the service.
And Jason, who has been ignored and treated like a ghost all morning, who is so desperate for any kind of authentic brotherhood, he just answers honestly.
He opens up to him.
He tells the stranger on the street, "Yeah, I was in Baghdad for the last 2 years, but I'm no longer active because I've been injured."
And the haggard man gives this performative shake of the head.
Oh, it's so gross.
He offers some fake practice pity, and he shakes Jason's hand. Then he hands Jason one of his pamphlets.
And this pamphlet is a masterpiece of absurdity.
It really is.
It claims to be for a 2009 annual Veterans Day reunion.
Sounds normal enough.
Until you read it. Listen to the promises printed on this thing. It's advertising picnic entertainment. It promises live bands featuring Nancy Sinatra and Barbara Mandrell.
Just bizarre.
It boasts about fireworks and incredibly free ice cream for kids.
The cognitive dissonance here is absolutely deafening. I mean, try to hold these two images in your head at the same time.
Okay.
You have a man wearing a shirt begging a stranger to shoot him in the head to end his misery.
Right.
And he is handing out flyers promoting free ice cream and a Nancy Sinatra cover band to traumatized combat veterans.
It makes no sense, none at all.
It's completely disconnected from reality.
But Jason is so starved for connection that he completely ignores the absurdity of the flyer. He doesn't even question it.
He just wants to be real.
He thinks he's finally found a brother in arms, someone who understands the darkness. So he looks the man and asks, "My commanding officer is from Denver. Do you happen to know a Lieutenant Halverson?"
And here is the ultimate betrayal.
Yeah.
The man realizes Jason isn't a mark. He's actual military.
He's the real deal.
So the man drops the act entirely. He casually, almost flippantly, admits to Jason that he has never been in the army. Not for a single day in his life.
He's wearing the camouflage pants and the suicide shirt purely to collect tips.
Exactly. And he defends it.
The audacity.
He tells Jason, with a twisted kind of entrepreneurial pride, that no one would bother stopping to talk to him if they just thought he was a regular homeless guy.
People ignore homeless guys all the time.
Right. If he's just a guy down on his luck, people walk by. But if he's a suicidal veteran, that opens wallets.
That is so dark.
The trauma is a costume for him. The suicidal ideation is a marketing tactic. And to prove his point, the man proudly thumbs through a fat bankroll of $5 and $10 bills he's collected from guilty civilians all morning.
That just turns my stomach. I mean, the concept of stolen valor is well-known people wearing unearned medals to get free drinks or undeserved respect.
Right. We've all heard those stories.
But this is taken to a grotesque, almost predatory extreme. This is perverse street-level marketing.
It absolutely commodifies very real, very lethal trauma.
Yeah, it turns it into a product.
And for Jason, who is actively suffering from PTSD, who has a dead arm hanging at his side, who literally lost 2 years of his life to a coma.
This encounter is devastating.
It is. This fake veteran cheapens Jason's entire horrific reality into a carnival barker's hustle just to make a quick buck off civilian guilt.
And Jason's reaction is pure, visceral disgust.
He's repulsed.
He doesn't yell at the man, though. He just backs away in shock. He walks into the supermarket completely silently.
The shock just paralyzes him.
But the pressure cooker is building. When he comes back out of the store with his groceries, the valve just pops.
The psychological suppression fails.
Yeah.
And he breaks down.
He starts spitting these random, terrifying curses out loud on the sidewalk. It actively scares the patrons out front.
People are backing away from him again.
And then we get this incredibly vivid physical outburst. He is shaking his plastic grocery bag so violently, with so much uncontrollable rage, that a pressurized can of shaving foam literally snaps through the
It
plastic.
just bursts right through.
It flies out of the bag and becomes a projectile. A random passerby actually has to duck and dodge it to keep from getting hit in the head.
The physical loss of control perfectly mirrors his internal psychological collapse.
He just can't hold it in anymore.
He cannot contain the rage. And what does the fake veteran do?
Probably nothing.
He just watched the outburst, probably assumes Jason is just another unstable vagrant, and goes right back to handing out his ice cream flyers.
Unbelievable. So Jason is left to pick up his dented can of shaving cream from the pavement. He refills his torn bag, and the text says he concludes that the world just wasn't ready for him yet.
That line hits so hard.
It really does. And I have to stop and ask you, is Jason right?
About the world not being ready.
Yeah. Is society fundamentally incapable of handling the messy, raw reality of a returning, severely traumatized soldier? Do we only want the Hollywood version or the sanitized, free ice cream version of a veteran, and not the guy shaking with rage on the sidewalk?
I think the text makes a powerful argument that he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Society proves, in this single morning, that it prefers the performance of trauma over the reality of it.
The performance over the reality. Wow.
The shoppers in the mall clear a massive path to avoid the real trauma of Jason's dead arm and his bloodstained money.
You want nothing to do with him.
Right. But those same types of people will happily hand a $5 bill to the man wearing the fake suicide shirt.
Because it's easy.
Because handing over $5 allows them to feel like they've solved the problem and bought their own absolution.
Ah, buying absolution. That makes so much sense.
The real Jason offers no easy absolution. He is a complex, unresolved problem.
And this utter defeat pushes Jason to retreat. He has been rejected by the silent mall and mocked by the fake veteran. His only remaining safe haven is his home.
He just has to go back.
But as we'll see, that home offers absolutely no real sustenance.
None at all. So he makes the long trek back. He climbs back in through that open front window to ensure his mother doesn't know he broke protocol and left.
Sneaking back into his own house.
Yeah. And he heads straight for the kitchen. He is seeking the most basic, grounding human comfort: food.
But he opens the refrigerator, and it is a perfect metaphor for his entire current existence.
Really is.
The fridge is full, but absolutely nothing is ready to eat. It's all raw ingredients, vegetables that need chopping, meats that need cooking.
Everything requires work.
Everything requires prep time, patience, and physical ability. 3 things he currently lacks completely.
He has one working arm, severe withdrawal symptoms starting to tick up, and a throbbing headache from the mall. Cooking a meal is an executive function hurdle he simply cannot clear right now.
The aggravation just boils over for him.
Yeah, he loses it.
He slams the refrigerator door so hard that the glass bottles stored in the door actually tumble down inside and crash against each other.
Just pure frustration.
He tears through the dry cabinets looking for crackers, chips, snacks, anything immediate, and finds nothing.
This is a critical juncture where we see the addiction logic take over.
Okay, explain that.
Well, when the brain is denied biological sustenance like food and is suffering from acute emotional distress, the neural pathways prioritize immediate relief.
They just want to feel better, whatever it takes.
Exactly. The text details this tragic rationalization. Since there is no immediate food available, Jason figures, well, there was only one thing to satisfy his hunger.
He decides it's time for a shot of Barbicane.
He isn't taking it to fight the coma anymore.
No.
He is taking it to replace the biological need for food and the psychological need for comfort.
It's his only coping mechanism.
And the physical relief is instant. He injects the drug into the PICC line, and he notes that it feels good and warm.
Good and warm.
The chemical flood immediately suppresses the cortisol and the adrenaline of the morning's failures.
So he retreats into his father's recliner to let the drug fully take hold. He turns on the television, just staring at the screen. But as the Barbicane kicks into high gear, the image on the screen clears up, and the news broadcasters literally turn toward the camera and start laughing directly at him.
The hallucination returns, and it is stronger than before.
It's adapting.
Because it's not just the TV anchors mocking him, he feels that distinct presence in the room again.
His dad.
His absent father is standing directly behind the recliner, looking down at his smirking son.
And this leads to what I think is the most heartbreaking physical interaction of the entire day.
It is so sad.
Jason reaches his one good right arm up and over the back of the chair to give his father's ghost a high five.
A high five to a ghost.
And when he thinks his father missed the high five, Jason just bellows with laughter.
He spends hours sitting in that chair laughing with a phantom.
Yeah.
Think about the tragedy of that mechanism. The Barbicane is entirely hijacking his grief and his need for connection.
It's feeding him fake love.
Right. His actual living mother is out in the world trying to maintain some semblance of a normal life by playing cards. But his father's ghost, a man who isn't even there, has become his closest confidant.
Because it's easy. The ghost doesn't judge him.
Exactly. The hallucination provides the warmth, the humor, and the physical interaction that the mall and the street completely denied him.
The tragic irony here is just immense. I mean, Jason went out into the real world fully dressed in his combat gear.
Ready to face society.
Right. He actively looked for directions. He looked for a veteran connection. He looked for food.
And he failed at all of them.
He was entirely rejected, ignored, or exploited at every single turn. And he returns home to find that his only successful, positive social interaction of the entire day is a missed high five with a drug-induced hallucination.
It really highlights the absolute impenetrable isolation of his reality.
It really does.
And it sets the stage for a chilling prophecy that changes the trajectory of the entire narrative.
Right. So Gloria finally comes home from her card game around 2 p.m. And I want to paint this visual for everyone listening because it is incredibly striking.
Set the scene.
So Gloria walks through the front door, puts her purse down, and looks into the living room at her son.
Okay.
Jason is sitting in the dead man's recliner. He is still wearing his full desert fatigues, covered in the sweat of his excursion. His left sleeve is pushed all the way up, blatantly revealing the PICC line in his dead arm where he just injected the drugs.
Not hiding it at all.
And in his right hand, he is still clutching that absurd, crumpled Veterans Day reunion pamphlet with the promise of free ice cream.
The visual is just, it's pathetic and terrifying at the same time.
It is. He looked at his mother, high out of his mind, and slurs a very specific declaration. He says, 7 more days.
7 more days.
Gloria is understandably confused and deeply concerned, so she asks him, until what?
And Jason replies, 7 more days until I find Marley, and laugh with him. This introduces a massive ticking clock to the story.
Yeah, a literal countdown.
This drug-fueled declaration shifts Jason's entire mindset. He is no longer a passive patient recovering in his father's room, just trying to survive the night.
He's on the offensive now.
He has formulated an active mission. He has a target, a timeline, and an objective.
And if you're a soldier going on a mission, you require equipment. You don't deploy empty-handed.
Definitely not.
Which transitions us to the final major beat of this section, the demand for the sidearm.
The text jumps forward a bit chronologically here, noting that it's been a very long, tense week following that Tuesday.
The pressure has been building in the house.
And Jason finally approaches his mother with a highly specific tactical demand. He wants the rest of his military belongings returned to him.
Specifically, he wants his gun.
His sidearm, yes.
Gloria's reaction is immediate. She frowns, and she lies to him right to his face.
A total lie.
She claims that the military doctors confiscated the weapon when he was evacuated to the hospital in Germany. She tells him that the doctors said he would never get it back because he was, quote, beyond help.
It is a devastating, incredibly cruel thing for a mother to say to her son, even as a lie designed to protect him.
It's so harsh.
To tell a recovering traumatic brain injury patient that the doctors deemed him beyond help is a profound psychological blow.
And Jason snaps with this righteous indignity. He yells, I was in a goddamn coma for Christ's sake.
He defends himself, but the internal narration reveals the actual truth to us as the reader.
Yes, the text explicitly notes that Gloria actually does have the gun.
She kept it.
It is physically in the house, hidden away, but she is terrified of what he might do with it. She sees a man who talks to ghosts and injects heavy drugs.
She's not wrong to be scared.
So she doubles down on her lie, telling him that he's been put on a federal list that restricts him from ever buying a new gun anyway. She tries to rationalize with him, arguing, there's nothing you can do with a gun here anyway.
Okay, I have the challenges.
Yeah, please.
Is Gloria right to lie to him? Because on one hand, giving a loaded firearm to a man experiencing severe drug-induced hallucinations sounds like absolute madness.
Recipe for disaster.
But on the other hand, she is lying to a trained soldier, and her lies are incredibly flimsy.
It is a true catch-22, an impossible ethical and practical dilemma.
If she gives him the gun, she risks him harming himself or others during a hallucination.
But by lying to him, and particularly by using language that strips him of his agency, telling him he is beyond help, she inadvertently triggers his defiance.
She doesn't defuse the bomb.
No, she just forces him to find his own explosives.
Exactly. He angrily retorts, "There is," meaning there is plenty he can do with a gun, and he rushes toward the front door.
But he doesn't leave.
No, he stops dead at the telephone table in the hallway.
He grabs the heavy yellow phone book, and the text provides a crucial, visceral detail about his physical state in this exact moment.
What's the detail?
As he is furiously thumbing through the pages, his hands are trembling. But the narrative makes it clear it's not just from the anger of the argument, it is from hunger.
The physical, chemical craving for the barbicane is setting in hard.
He is entering active withdrawal while simultaneously trying to plan a tactical acquisition. His body is failing while his mind is racing.
And Gloria is standing there, watching him with this agonizing mix of curiosity and deep worry.
She doesn't know what to do.
Eventually, the pressure of watching his withdrawal tremors is too much for her to bear. She retreats to the bedroom to fetch the wooden box of barbicane, intending to prepare a dose for him to just, calm him down.
And while she's gone, while he is entirely unmonitored, Jason hits pay dirt. He finds the section for guns and gunsmiths.
He found it.
There are 10 listings in the immediate Denver area, but his eyes lock onto one specific advertisement because it features a visual map.
The ad promises everything a man on a mission could possibly need. It says, buy, sell, rent firearms training, complete indoor target range.
And it gives the precise address, 200 East Baker Street.
So Jason realizes his memory is completely compromised. He knows his brain won't hold on to the cross streets.
Right.
He also anticipates that if his mother realizes what he's actually researching, she will actively try to stop him from leaving the house again.
So he executes a covert action. He doesn't just memorize it. He snatches the page entirely out of the phone book, tearing it loose.
He folds it up tightly and hides it inside that absurd Veterans Reunion brochure that he still carries with him.
The free ice cream flyer.
Yeah. He shoves the whole package deep into his breast pocket.
Just as he secures the intel, Gloria emerges from the bedroom.
Timing is everything.
She is holding a fully loaded syringe of barbicane in her hand, ready to placate him, ready to send him back to the ghosts.
And Jason looks at her, the folded map burning a hole in his pocket, and asks a single ominous question.
He asks, where is Baker Street?
By trying to protect Jason with a lie, telling him his old sidearm is gone forever, she has inadvertently launched him out into the city to procure a new, untraceable weapon.
When you combine this new tactical objective with his active hallucinations, his untreated trauma, the physical withdrawal of the barbicane, and that chilling 7 days prophecy.
The tension isn't just simmering.
No, it is at an absolute boiling point.
Gloria accidentally lit the fuse while she was trying to hide the matches.
Which leaves us with a final lingering thread to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive into Jason's reality.
Let's hear it.
Think about what it signifies regarding the deep, enduring scars of trauma, when the only clear, actionable goal a survivor can formulate is to arm themselves in order to track down a ghost from their past.
That is heavy.
The ultimate tragedy of Jason Matherson isn't just that he's hallucinating, it's that his hallucinations are the only things giving him a sense of purpose in a world that has otherwise entirely discarded him.
It really forces us to ask a terrifying question. Is the waking darkness he's experiencing right now actually worse than the coma he left behind?
Are you ready for the coming search for Marley?
I'm ready.
This is Troy. I wanted to thank you for listening and hope that you tune in for my weekly presentation of In Darkness We Sleep. Vocals by Eric Neubauer and Troy St. James. Music and episode art provided by Robert McNichol. I can be contacted directly at troystjames@cox.net. This audio podcast is produced by Troy St. James, copyright 2012. Have a good night.